In Outlander Season 7, Episode 7, Roger and Brianna welcome a familiar face to the present before disaster strikes. Jamie and William go into battle on different sides, and a beloved character's fate is left in the balance. Megan, what did you think?
I did like this episode this week. I still feel that last week was my favourite. I feel like, we saw a lot of Roger and Bri in this episode, and it wasn't as much Claire and Jamie, and maybe I am biased, but, I think when it takes us away from the 18th century and goes more to the 1970s, that doesn't interest me in the same way, but I still thought it was a good episode, and loads is going on now.
Yeah, I thought the episode flew by, actually. I was really into it. I've got to say, I do agree with you. I do prefer the stuff that's, back in the 18th century. That being said, I do feel like Roger and Brianna's storyline has been pretty dry this season until now. I feel like this is the first time that I've actually started to feel quite invested in what's going on with them. Moving off the cliffhanger from episode 6, we've been introduced to a new character who for the first time has gone from the past to present day, who's a person who belongs in the past. And it's, we didn't know this, but we've been told by our viewers, and obviously by the episode, that it is Buck Mackenzie. And he is one of the people who was responsible for hanging Roger back in the day. And it's also Roger's great granddad. But what did you think about his storyline?
Do you know what? When he was first introduced, I was kind of thinking, okay, where is this going to go? Because, Buck Mackenzie didn't make much of an impact on me, clearly, when he was back in the earlier seasons. Because, I didn't even clock that it was him when we saw him at the end of last episode. But as the episode went on and seeing their dynamic, and it was just quite endearing to see them together. You could feel like Roger really felt a connection to his ancestor. And I thought that was really nice. And seeing him kind of navigate the modern world was also quite funny.
I really liked seeing that angle of it, because I guess we've never seen that before. We've never seen someone actually handle an airplane or see a television or look at a torch.
Yeah, it's true.
That being said, and I think we've said this a couple of times, but I think this episode really doubled down on it. Just how much they take all this stuff in their stride. I think
yeah,
true. When Bree saw the sort of weird ripple effect, and then they're just talking about it like it's nothing, like it's a day in the office. And I think this is the same thing. It's like the Roger and Brianna are both just a bit eye roll, another issue to deal with. A guy from the past has shown up in a back garden. I'd be like, this is wild. This is wild. Can my dad come through the stones now? Can we all be together? But I'd be thinking that the possibilities were endless, and instead they're just kind of, this is just another problem we've got to deal with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in their kind of present timeline, they just see it as Claire and Jamie are dead and that's it. So I feel like they don't even link it of, maybe Jamie could go through the stones. I think Bri has very much put it out of her mind now. She's too heartbroken. I think she's just like, they're gone. We're not going to bring them back, which is very sad. But I think it looks like, without jumping too much to the end of the episode, that, maybe we're going to see them go back into the past again, especially to save little Jemmy.
Yeah, oh my god, let's talk about that, because that was such a huge moment that Jemmy is in a different time. Mandy called it. Apparently they've got a telepathic connection that I've missed at some point.
I thought I've missed that too. I kind of felt like that came out of nowhere for me. Again, this might be something where someone says, you might have missed this in this episode, but that's the first time I really felt aware of it.
I feel like, Megan, we're just watching this, and every so often they introduce this new level of mysticism, and we're just what
it must be going over our heads.
Yeah, seriously. And but they're just mentioning it they're in it's all fine. Jemmy and Mandy have a weird birthmark connection, and Jamie is literally dreaming of the future, and it's I swear you haven't actually been introducing these things. They're just happening, and it's
I know.
I want the lore behind it. I want the explanation. I want the time travel, space-time continuum explained to me.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Outlander, right? Because you've got so much going on. On one hand, you've got the actual history and the politics going on in the 18th century, but then they also mix it with this kind of fantasy element of all the time travel. And I think it just gets to a point where you just can't absorb all that information. I think I've watched an episode and taken it in, but clearly there are moments where I'm I doubt myself. I'm did I go out the room to make myself a drink? Did I miss this? Where is this coming from?
that's the thing. I think you can like suspend your disbelief if there are like rules to the things that are sort of otherworldly, you know, like so with the time travel, it's, you know, it's like certain lines of families, you have to have a gem, you have to hear this noise, and there's certain rules to it that kind of make the world building make sense. But I feel like this series, and it might just be me, and it might just be that I've missed things from previous series that are built on this a little bit more, but it does feel like they're just sort of throwing new stuff at it, and it's like, I'm like, well, you haven't explained that. That's just, I don't know, because I can't say I'm not enjoying it, though, on the other hand.
No, I am definitely enjoying it. I think, though, I do also see it, not as a plot hole, I don't think I could describe it that way, but the idea that this family is just so mystical, you know, and has all these abilities. And then it goes back to Jamie not being able to get through the stones. So it kind of seems like anything they have has come from Claire's side of the family. But that frustrates me, because then if Jamie is dreaming of the future again, I just think that becomes a plot hole for me.
Yeah, because he has a level of whatever's going on. So why can't
he
he
has
do
something.
it too? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Will Cameron, Kelsey Bree, has turned out to be a villain. And I swear Roger has the worst judgment in people ever. Like, just the worst. He's kidnapped their son and taken them through the stones. I've watched the promo for next episode. So little spoiler if no one even wants to watch the trailer beforehand, but it looks like Roger is gonna go get his son. So very excited.
Yeah, do you know what's weird with Roger is he's not really been my favourite character throughout the series. I think if I had to describe him in one word, I would always have kind of said bland. But then actually, yeah, and I think in this episode, seeing him go after Jemmy and kind of embrace his Scottish heritage and help his ancestor, I actually really felt that in this one episode alone, he just really grew on me. So I think him going through to the stones and going through to the past, I think we're going to actually see him come into his own. Like, he's not just going to be like sidelined as Bree's husband. He's actually going to be like his own person more and more. And it's making me like him more, because I think it's because he's having more of a Jamie moment.
I was going to say, did the kilt help?
I think it was the kilt.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
You know what? Like, I did, you know, when he popped out in his kilt, I was like, Roger. Like, okay, all right, sure.
You know, there's like stuff is going down in Outlander when like someone whips out their kilt. Like, you just know that like there is drama coming.
Well, speaking of drama, so let's go to the 18th century now, where we've had just before we go into like the battle and like how we left things with Jamie and William, I did like that there was a moment between Jamie and Claire where they talk about how Claire needs glasses now. Like, I
enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that, but I do enjoy that every so often they remind us that these very sort of young, beautiful people are actually meant to be in their like mid-50s.
Yeah, it's so nice. And also I think there's just something so wholesome about seeing Claire and Jamie like actually growing old together, because we're always seeing them going into battle or doing something that, you know, it's just so high stakes, and seeing them actually having a conversation about her eyesight getting terrible and her like denying it. It just felt so normal and grounded for them for once. It was such a nice moment that we don't get a lot of with those two.
Yeah, because then it was straight into the drama of the situation that was going straight into battle. And, you know, Jamie swearing that he wouldn't face his son across the battlefield once again, because they were in fact opposite each other.
Yeah.
On the battlefield. So they didn't meet.
No. As far as we know.
And I think there's something about that I think has fundamentally changed William as well. I think he's gone from being this like, because, you know, that was horrible when his friend just gets. I was shocked.
I wasn't expecting that. I think I think he's almost come out of it feeling a little bit disillusioned. And there is that scene where I think one of the generals says to him, you know, you're a different man now. But I didn't feel he came out of it feeling empowered and like war was the most important thing. I felt that he came out of it realizing just how destructive and awful it is. So I actually don't think he's as dedicated to the cause as he was.
I think you're right. I think he had like a very naive view of things. It was just like, let's go play at this. And then it's like now he's seeing the sort of grim reality, and I think it's gonna change who he is. But also, is it gonna change his? Because at the moment, he, you know, is very sort of just and fair with the rebels. But now this has happened, is he going to be like less so? Do you know what I mean? Is he going to be more unforgiving of them? And like, how is that going to work when he inevitably comes face to face with his true father?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's such a complex thing, like his reaction to it, because he was so devastated for the men. And there's that scene where he takes off his own jacket and he starts like helping with the digging of their graves and things like that. So it could go that way where there is more hostility. But I just think in general, I think because he's quite a kind soul overall, I can't see him, you know, down the line holding it against Jamie for being a rebel if they do interact. I don't think he would.
I just can't wait. I just can't wait for them to meet. I can't wait for it to click.
know.
And then it's like, oh, you should be with the rebels with your dad, you know, like you're on the wrong side.
Yeah.
But, well, that is if Jamie is not dead on the battlefield, which is where we left him. I
don't think many Outlander fans will actually believe that he's dead. And
Not a
I don't
chance.
think they necessarily hinted at that. I mean, we saw him collapse on the floor, so like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see any kind of major injuries. I didn't see any big like gun wounds or anything. So I'm like, I was like inspecting him. You can tell I'm not inspecting. Like, I was like inspecting him. I was like, can we see any grazes? Like, is baby cut? Has baby got any wounds? I was actually inspecting him. And I was like, no, it's okay. He's just laying there. He's just like had a knock on the head. It was pretty intense.
Oh my God. I did the same thing. I was like, it's just his head cut. It's just a shallow, it's a shallow cut.
The episode, like freeze frame on Jamie unconscious on the floor, and was like, let's check. I don't believe he's dead, but I was like, he better not come back for some serious injuries.
Oh no, I think he'll be fine. I don't think that's Jamie's ending. We've seen him on the battlefield many a time before. So I look forward to seeing him fighting fit to meet his son. Hopefully in the next episode. The next episode, which is the mid-season finale.
Oh, they've got to meet. I think in the next one they will meet. I mean, this is the closest they've been in proximity to one another, basically. Apart from, I think at the start of the season, he saw him in town. But yeah, we're actually seeing them on the battlefield now. They're going to interact. I mean, Jamie's wounded, which makes me think he'll be taken as a hostage or whatever. And I think he might interact with William there. So that's what I'm like hoping for. I'd like them to actually have a chance to chat, not just like see each other in battle and then Jamie be like, oh my God, and you know, lower his gun. Like, I actually want them to have a moment. And I want to know if he's going to just kind of make friends with him, or if he's actually going to say, like, I'm your dad. Like, is he going to do it?
I hope so. I hope so. Some Darth Vader moments going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us for our latest episode of Outlander Insider. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments. Let us know what you thought of the episode. We love hearing from you. And head over to hellomagazine.com for more news about Outlander. And we will see you next week. Bye.